Thank you, Michael. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have a little confession to make. I used to be a mad woman. I still maybe am a little bit. I used to lose temper over every single problem I had. Or I called it a problem, let's say. I used to be annoyed by everything happening to me in life. Be it a drop of water on my bathroom mirror, or someone stepping on my foot on the tube. I'm not even talking about my husband's socks on the floor. Those would drive him completely crazy. You know what my favorite argument was with my husband? A dishwasher. You know, when you load the dishwasher, you're supposed to put the spoons and forks upside down, so the dirty side gets washed properly. Right? Does anybody here agree with me? Thank you very much. You see, honey, I'm not the only one in the world. Yes. I used to hate overcrowded tube. And even such simple thing like rain on the way to work was able to ruin my life, or my day for that matter. Being in London, obviously, half of my life was pretty much ruined because it rains a lot and the tube is always overcrowded. You see, I come from a culture where complaining is #1 entertainment for people. I would say this in our Ukrainian blood. We get together for dinners and parties, and all we do is complain about everything from the weather to politicians, and luckily, or not, our Ukrainian politicians are such ones that we never run out of topics for conversation. And recently they got a good friend overseas, so now the whole world is having a similar conversation to what we used to have in Ukraine. So then, strange thing happened to me. I moved to Britain. And here, people would go, for example, in Marks and Spencer, "Hello, how are you doing today, madam?" And I would go, you know, I've got this problem. Next. Okay. Someone at work would go, "Olga, how is it going?" "Oh, you know, seeing as you asked, I wanted to tell you about..." "Sorry, I've got to go." And I thought to myself, what is wrong with people in this country? Nobody would listen to my complaints anymore. What do I do next? When there is no outlet, what do? We tend to keep everything inside in our heads. And it's going on there. And it's very tiring, you know? It was more tiring for myself to keep it inside rather than for somebody would be to listen. So at some point, it was like a living bomb mechanism in my head, ready to explode at any point. And then I realized I had no better friends than my own fears and insecurities. I was very critical and judgmental of the world. And it returned to me as a state of constant anxiety and unhappiness. Then I thought, hang on a minute. I have a loving husband who is here supporting me today, even though I complain about his socks from the stage. So I have a job, I have a decent income. Luckily, everybody in my family is all right. And I live in London. For God's sake, what is there not to love? Except for rain and overcrowded tube, obviously. So if we step out of our self-pity for a moment, our life actually looks pretty good. Who knows what I'm talking about? So what is the difference between the state of something close to madness and the state of love, happiness, and satisfaction? It is only a fine line, and it's called choice. We may not always choose our circumstances. We may not always choose our environment. If we argue with reality, we will always lose. But what you can do is to choose how you react to this reality. We can learn to be aware of our emotions. We can learn to understand our behaviors in certain situations. And we can, by all means, learn to face anything that happens to us with a smile on our face. Like this. Seriously, I know it's not always possible, but we can definitely do it a lot more. And then any challenge we are facing, would become whatever we choose it to be it a great opportunity, or perhaps simply a reason for a good laughter, or maybe an expression of gratitude towards someone you love. So think of a recent challenge you had in your life. How did it make you feel? Are you proud of how you handled it? I know you are certainly proud of how you handled your challenge. So if you did not, if you were not proud of it, how would you do it differently? And then, no matter what happens, you remember you have a choice. And then life will become a game and not a battle. Thank you.